beautiful beings. My first name is Kuwa Jasiri. My pronoun is beauty, and I'm the founding steward at Artistic Apothecary. I thought I would take a moment to talk about my most recent cruise experience on a boat, and just different ways where I could bring more consciousness into my cruising experience. So if you want more kind of behind the scenes intimacy with me, what I'm doing, check out our Patreon at our Authentic Creations. And so all of those proceeds go to me and making sure me as the founding steward gets paid for the work I do. So I love that. Recently, I went on a cruise with celebrity, and I chose them because I wanted a spa-focused boating experience to the destination I wanted to go to. And so I chose so-called Fort Lauderdale. I like smaller ports, and so that offered me a smaller port. And I was wanting to go to Jamaica. So before I even left, after booking, Jamaica had a hurricane. So I wanted to be more of a conscious tourist, conscious consumer, and bring aid. So my second suitcase was actually hurricane relief aid. Just in my own network, I asked people, you know, anyone who lives and does amazing work in Jamaica, found somebody, they met me at the port, I gave them the suitcase. Actually, that's not what happened. They had some vehicle transportation trouble. They didn't make it. There were some other people at the port willing to steward it for the hour and a half until the other people made it because I was on a time crunch. So that was before I even left. I coordinated that, figured out what they wanted, make sure I had it, make sure it was allowed on the boat through customs and all of those things. And so I did have to pre-arrange with my cruise line during my cruise to get the bag off at the port. It did take some coordination, so plan for that. Otherwise, it was super great. I love being on the water. I would say in general, this isn't really about conscious cruising, but maybe it is. You want to find a boat whose culture you align with. And so even though what I was looking for, the boat had, they did kind of, I think everything was 3 times as expensive, and I felt like everything was very generic. So I personally will not cruise with them in the future, and finding other options, which I'll chat about at the end. So I'm just going to go through in order of like me getting on the boat, what happened. So anything that you're not sure about, I would put in your carry-on just so that you are there to have like in-person communication around it. And if they do confiscate it, you are aware of the protocol. You don't just have like a little ticket that says we took it in your checked bag. So the cruise line I went on, you could bring a bottle of alcohol that's like a certain size. So be sure of that. Also in my carry-on, I brought my immersion blender. So I made smoothies. I also brought this and made smoothies for myself, right? Instead of getting a drink package, or on the ship I was on, smoothies cost extra outside of the base included rate. And I brought this on my carry-on because I wasn't sure, but it is under the wattage and everything, but I wanted to be sure, so I brought it in my carry-on. I went straight to the spa. Celebrity is nice because you can put your carry-on bags in your room and wait until your stateroom is fully ready. Yeah, I like that. And so I would say the spa, it did have the Persian garden, so that's an extra charge. It did have some unique features, so I did like that. It was nice to go to a place where there was just less people. I'm thinking too, the cruise line I went on, it had an itty bitty library, So my next cruise will definitely have a bigger library, more selection of like non-screen activities, I would say. There's a lot of like the fitness center was really nice. It's included, and then they also do courses or not courses, but just like in the pool deck exercise kind of thing that has a routine that they teach you. I don't know the word. There's a teacher, an instructor, a trainer for group activities. So I really like that to get me moving. There was the track on the upper deck, but I didn't think it kind of was just like the sidewalk or, it just the walkway. I was kind of confused. I thought there would be like separate exercise area, but it was fine. I didn't use it, but I used it as a walkway and noticed people doing laps. So I'll talk about the food. My next cruise, I definitely want to cruise with a cruise line who's talking about the food as far as like where it's sourced. I did feel like it was real big box store stuff. Like I have allergies, and so I think I got a little bit behind the scenes of what's in the food. There was kind of wheat in everything. The mustard that they got has wheat in it. And I truly have never encountered that before. And so and I think that's low quality. Like, why is there wheat filler in mustard sauce? So things like that. I did think the honey was pure. I thought they did have like low quality teas that have been maybe not recalled, but investigated and third-party tested to have what's it called, pesticides and high plastic content and things like that. So I didn't like that, and I brought my own tea bags. And I think I brought those in my carry-on just in case, because you can't, at least where I went, you can't bring food. And so I just wanted to make sure. Another thing I couldn't bring is flowers. I had a beautiful bouquet of flowers. I brought them in my carry-on. I even had a dehydrated bundle and an alive bundle just from happenstance, and they took both of them. And then there was no place to get flowers on the boat or even like on the islands. I just, smelled the roses when I walked by. There was a few live plants on the ship, but also kind of lackluster for me. And it was like half live, half dead, or not dead, but like plastic. And so for me, traveling, like this to me is luxury. And so if you're saying spa luxury and there's no flowers, I'm not going to do it. So I also brought this container just from like carry out food that I got and my buffet meals, or if I took anything to go from the dining room. Because I have allergies and a specific diet, I really loved the buffet. It did encapsulate a lot of dietary things versus the dining room where I had to like special order and check in on stuff. And then what they brought me it just seemed like it lacked, it's like, you can't eat the sauce. So they just bring me like dry food instead of like figuring out something. And so the buffet, right, you have all these options. And I could even go to get the gluten-free pizza and ask for pesto sauce, because there's pesto in the buffet. They just went and got it, or even bring like a bowl of stuff. Here you go. And so I just like that a lot better. Just the a la carte mix and match really went well with what I eat. There's a big salad bar, a lot of raw food options that just aren't on the dining menu. And I found this really supportive. I had two of them. So one was in my refrigerator and one was kind of in rotation. I did notice too that the food was spoiling quickly. Like I would get the free continental cold breakfast because I love, so that's room service. So this liner only gave you breakfast, cold continental breakfast included. And so I took advantage of that, made my smoothies with it. Really great. And kind of that thing too where I realized, oh, there's all this other stuff. I marked in like peanut butter, any cold thing, cottage cheese. Sometimes I got it, sometimes I didn't. But I'm like, if it's available in the breakfast buffet, I need to be able to get it in room service. So I thought that was nice. I'm trying to think of what else conscious. I think too, just the excursions. I picked a legacy tour with the cruise line because you have guarantee that the boat will wait for you and you'll get where you need to go. It didn't have any like I'm gonna say commercial capitalistic shopping with it. It went to like these places that the Jamaican people themselves like pride themselves on, and so that was really great to get like that their perspective of what their legacy is. And so I really like that. I did go on a Jamaican rum tour. I think that was a little bit more commercialized, and I was like, could have done without it. But some of the most potent rum in the world, so worth the taste, and something they're really prideful on, right? And it was part of the legacy tour, so I don't know if I could have not done it. I did want this to be kind of quick. I'm thinking, so I also went to the magic show. Generic. I've seen 80% of that exact show before. And so just things like that. I was like I was saying, just the culture didn't vibe. Like things I think are luxury, things I'm willing to pay 3 times as much for, just weren't really available. I did win the spa raffle, which I also thought was just an upsell. You know, I didn't. You know, I got 1/3 off of certain things, certain high price things. So I used it. Went on the boat. Okay, so I love that. So something I learned from the experience, right? I was like, the culture's off, some things that I wanted, what I think is luxury, and so I kind of asked around. So I heard Holland America does a lot more cultural immersion where they, some of the programming that they have that's part of your ticket goes towards language learning, cultural immersion, cultural, like their cooking, different things that they offer on the ship are geared toward the places you're going. And I really love that. When I was on my cruise, I just was like, aren't we like going to the Caribbean? It felt really like bringing America KKK into like everywhere we went. I did like my cruise ship was a little bit smaller, but I would probably keep trying to find smaller ships. Just flooding into a country and then there's like multiple cruise ships. It just was a little bit, like I was saying, conscious consumering. I was just like, I'm not sure. So there's that. And then, so I also, even though I'm like, ooh, me and Holland America seem like a really great fit, I realized they don't go where I want to go. So they do have a extended world tour that does Africa. I'll probably do that, but it's one way. Holland America also does one way. They just like drop you off at another continent. And I'm not sure. But when I fully live or part-time live in Africa, I think that would be really great. And then it goes to the West Coast of where we are. And also the Fort Lauderdale smaller, I'm going to say port. And they also do on the, did I say West Coast? I meant East Coast. I get everything mixed up. So on the West Coast, they do leave out of so-called San Diego, which I really love, another small port. And they go like Catalina Island, Sea of Cortez. And so I thought too, before I get on any of these like moon cycle or longer boats, I want to do like a short trip with them. So that's my plan for that. And then I really like Margaritaville at Sea because they leave out of Tampa Bay. And that colonial space is nice because I love the manatees. And so I can go visit them, jump on a cruise, and have like a 2-in-1 vacation versus like hopping around a bunch. That's also what I love about cruising is that you can go to multiple places, but you have one bedroom. Whoever thought that up. Genius. So Margaritaville is nice at sea. They've got smaller boats, fewer boats. You know, it's just a smaller company. I assume. And, you know, I don't know anyone's profits or any, you know, how much people they're moving through. But they leave out of a smaller port. I want to go to Key West. They'll go there. They go some other places. That's another thing with cruising is they go a lot of places. I wanted to go to Jamaica. There were two other ports that we went to that I didn't get out at. One I had been to before and thought it was a bit lackluster, and the other one I just didn't want to go to. And so that's when I was like getting my massages or doing more things on the cruise ship that would be otherwise like busy. The third cruise line that I found is Princess. Because I want to go to the America Samoa or the Samoa Islands. They're currently like colonized by us and Fiji. And so that's nice because it leaves out of the West Coast. It is, I think, from Los Angeles, so it's a bigger port. And it's 2 moon cycles, but it comes back. And so I really love that. So it is longer, but it goes where I want to go. And I heard Princess and Holland are kind of compatible or similar, just the way people were talking about them. So I hope to culturally just a little bit more in alignment. But those are the 3 lines that I'm going to try next that go to where I want to go. Yeah, and I think that's important. The culture plus where you're going. I think is the biggest thing, and the amenities on the boat, right? Because I went only for amenities on the boat and where I wanted to go, but the culture is important too. And I wasn't going to do anything. I found the perfect trip that I wanted, but I would not do it again. So, you know, you try things, you live a little, you learn. Thanks so much for joining me and journeying with me. As always, we'll get this transcribed within a moon cycle, PDF, something or other. We have the other transcriptions done, and we'll get them up for the divination picker card. My brain's kind of fuzzy. I've just been eating corn sprouts, if you know about them. Okay. So thank you so much. And we're trying to figure out this internet to come live more, to do pickup cards more. I have another like workout in your bathtub video coming that won't be live. But things are in the works. So thank you so much. And just the slowness, you're so sweet. I have to show you because it's too cute. We just got a grant, and so we got these melanated at the market care packs, which is like a pouch with some seeds, some tea, and an eye mask. The one by one on one, 141. I'll have to figure out their name, but we got that grant from 4 Imprints. So thank you so much for that and all of your support. Yeah, to African liberation. Thank you.